The bus comes up. The door opens. You got to get that. Because if they strip the sound because of a dialogue thing, you're going to have to put all that back in, plus record the dialogue and put it in there on another track. Record the dialogue on another track and get all the sound effects and put them on all these different tracks, and then it all comes together sometimes later. You get a work tape, it's got the production dialogue on it, which means the dialogue that they took on the set. Whatever it is, somebody standing there with the mic, hopefully it doesn't get in the camera, you know. You ever see the mic pop down in there? That's production dialogue. Now, sometimes it actually is okay because of the acoustics. There's no airplane that went by while they were talking, or that whatever. Wind didn't blow over the microphone and go, you know, all those things. But then when something like that happens, well, they got to redo that dialogue in the studio. They got to watch their lips on the screen and say the line again and match it exactly to the lips, and then we got the new dialogue. Automatic dialogue replacement. That's ADR. But when you have to do ADR, you got to replace all the sound effects. That's a big job. The work tape comes in, you take the audio of the production dialogue, put it into Pro Tools on one track, and you're locking Pro Tools to that videotape where timecode will be on channel 2, linear timecode, and now you take your linear timecode, put it into your device, boom, now hopefully your Pro Tools is locked with that video, and now you see the dialogue, you're hearing the dialogue off of Pro Tools, and it matches picture, hopefully. Now you can build all the sounds on tracks underneath that. Now there's the gunshot, boom, it goes right here, boom, that's on track 3, gunshot. Machine gun on track 4, 45 on track 2, you know, that's what you do. And it's very creative because you have to recreate the whole soundscape. And if you see a bird fly through the thing, you got to get the bird. You got to get that sound there in case the director says, I want to hear more of that bird. The sound isn't there. Where's the bird? Stop everything. You know, I want the bird. So you put the bird in there. You got a track. Put the doggone bird on a track and forget about it. Here's another thing, options that you would give. When you're doing sound effects, let's say you have an indoor scene that goes to an outdoor scene. Let's say it's the indoor apartment scene. And then gunshot, boom, runs out of the room, runs down the hall, elevator opens, guy's in the elevator. When the door closes, it cuts to the beach. And now there's somebody on the beach that's going to get the next shot, but everything is mellow and beautiful, you know. Okay, whole different mood, whole different place, whole different ambience. There's an ambient sound in this room, which is the room tone. So you have to go and get the ambience. So there's ambiences in libraries of every kind. And you have to put the ambient sound that's in the room, and then you got to find ambient sound for the beach, which is the wave sound and a little bit of wind, and a little bit of, you know, throw the beach ball sounds in the background, whatever. Kids playing, beach sounds. Tons of them in libraries. So you would set up stereo ambience for indoors and stereo ambience tracks for outdoors. So now all of your indoor ambiences are going to be on these 2 tracks, and all of your outdoor ambiences are going to be on these other 2 tracks. Can anybody see a reason that you would want to have 2 sets of stereo indoor ambiences and 2 sets of stereo outdoor ambiences? Does anybody see a reason for that? No gunshot, no nothing. Just the sound of the room or the sound of the outdoors or the sound of the cars going by outside, you know. This is the ambiences. It's to give the director an option. And here's why. Have you ever watched something and before this scene ends, you hear the sound of the next scene? You hear the ambience of the next scene. Like the elevator door could be closing and we start to hear the beach sound. Now you can't do that unless you have 2 separate sets of tracks. So I got to have indoor ambiences on this and outdoor on this, right? Okay, now, what if I'm going from an indoor ambience to an indoor ambience? What if I go from inside where the elevator is, it's an inside thing, and then the next scene is inside another room, another indoor ambience? I only got 2 tracks stereo of indoor ambiences. Then that's going to mean that the indoor ambience is going to be cut at the beginning of the scene, and the next ambience is going to butt up against it, correct? Do you follow what I'm saying? Right? Well, what if the director wants to have the next scene's ambience come before the scene ends? You don't have it on tape because you butted it up on these 2 tracks. That's why you need 2 tracks of stereo indoor ambiences and 2 tracks of stereo outdoor ambiences, so that if the director, and you overlap, you always overlap them. You just, why, it's on its own track, just record more. You got another track for the next set of indoor ambiences. Now the next indoor ambience you put on these 2 tracks. The next indoor ambience you put on these 2 tracks. And if it's indoor ambience goes to a scene of indoor ambience, you overlap the ambiences. So the director has the option to pre-hear the sound from the next scene, or to go to the next scene and hear the tail end of the sound from the scene before. And you've heard it all, you've seen it all the time in a movie. Well, you're the people that makes that happen. You are the ones that makes that come about by the way you've set up the multi-track. There's a lot of jobs out there. A lot of different jobs in this business. And they're all very interesting, you know.